So I'm Brandon. I'm the officially Deputy Director of Spin-Out Companies and Funds. The university likes very long titles that are ambiguous and mean something to someone somewhere. I basically run the Launch Lab, and we do a lot of these programs every year. And what you just saw is the Booyah board. So this is full, I think there's like 40 odd teams and businesses and companies here. Danae has one co-founder. And the two of them have been slogging away at this education fintech thing for several years. And it's the most deflating thing in the world when you have a big milestone, like their first recurring customer. Like they've been going for a while, then there's a customer. Awesome. And then they pay you again. And it means we've got something that people want more than one time. And you can start to grow and build a business. And what normally happens is Danae and Elijah sit here. And then they share a desk because I don't know if you're paying for one and two if you're here, but they're hustling. So then it's like, Elijah, we just signed our first recurring customer. High five. Good job. And it's like, how do we get more just the hiss? And you guys have been here long enough, you know what hiss is. We want to get more of that. So it's not just Danae and Elijah that get to celebrate, but the community where we celebrate each other's wins. Success breeds success. And if we can celebrate that and see something as simple as one recurring monthly customer, that's something. Where there was, the last Booyah was like $5.2 million raised. That's also interesting, like 90 million rand. But also the little wins that build the momentum into, there was once a monthly recurring customer that ended up in a couple of years a $5 million raise. And so that's a little, a lesson for free on what we try to do here at Launch Lab. Yes, we run programs, we work with companies, we're busy with investment committee meetings. Like now, literally one of our companies is in an investment committee meeting. There's multiple DDs happening now. We do all of that stuff, but there's also the personal, the soft, and the hious part that's also extremely important. But welcome to the Africa Stars Demo Day. I'm going to be emceeing a little bit. And what we're going to do is a little bit of words from the CERI team and like what the vision is for all of this thing. Then I'll take us through the formalities. And then there's 6 projects that will be pitching the work that they've been working on how to take an academic project commercially for the last 10 weeks. And that'll be kind of the flow of the day. But first, Tulio, you want to come and welcome everyone and say a few words and end the program and the year.
So yeah, just to say a few words. First thing, I really like you guys, yeah, because I came back from Brazil straight here, yeah, which is quite a big ask, yeah. But and was funny. I was landing the plane and I'm getting the message from Brenda. Are you coming? Are you coming? Yes, but let me just arrive in the country first. Yeah. So it's really nice to see, yeah, this happening, yeah. So just quick, a little story how we became involved with the Launch Lab, and how we came with the idea of the African Stars, because it is a little bit what Brenda is saying. A lot of these things, a lot of times happen organically, yeah. So when we start CERI around 3.5 years ago, not sure, yeah. Then one of the ideas that I had that I was trying to do in Durban, it is how to bring things to the market, yeah. And then I just had arrived in Stellenbosch University, yeah. And then I had a call with the Launch Lab, yeah. And was this really annoying American, yeah. Not him, eh? Which come and say like, oh no, what are you trying to do? You're gonna compete with me and da, da, da. And I said, no, we would not. We have no interest to do that. We want to work together and be synergetic. And then we got too busy on COVID. Then we forgot, and then we end up moving next door. Yeah, when they were refurbishing our new building, yeah, of the data school. What's called the decanting facility. That's when they move you when they're building. And then we start coming here to the coffee shop. Yeah. And then in that process, also, we hired Richard Gordon as our senior fundraiser. And then Richard go and say, oh, it's more there than just coffee. Yeah, they have a really exciting ecosystem. And then we begin to chat, and then we start coming the ideas of how to work together, and then which we didn't know how to do that. And then all of a sudden, yeah, we were visited by one of the senior program directors from the MasterCard Foundation that came to meet with us. Solomon Zedo, because he had heard about our great fellowship program. Yeah, so before we start the African Staff Fellowship Program, we host close to 800 fellows from 50 African countries, and they come to talk to us about, oh, can we create another fellowship program? And we thought that, yes, we can create another fellowship program. We really like this fellowship and training people, but they say, yes, but we are not interested in research. We are interested in commercialization. Yeah. And I say, wow, now it's perfect. We have the perfect partner. That's the Launch Lab. And then we went into the journey, yeah, of selecting the fellows. As part of that, we even create a new space that we call the Launch Lab CERI Bio, yeah. And Brandon say, but look, my logo is bigger than yours. Yeah, so we don't mind. Sometimes size do not matter. Yeah, and that was good, and that all came. So what we thought is that as part of the fellowship program, as we did the holistic training, we thought that the last 10 weeks would start finishing in the Launch Lab, just to you to start thinking how to move things to the market. And I hope that was exciting for you. And one thing that Cheryl reminded me, yeah, field evaluation is that yes. So we really need to hear from you, the fellows. So if you can take serious about the process, so we can build next, yeah. And then today, for me, it's a big celebration. It's a celebration that first I'm back in South Africa, which is also a lovely country, yeah. Doesn't have the same sea as Brazil, but it has very nice people. Yeah, and also it is the end of our first phase, our first ATTs. Yeah, and that we will do. And a lot of time people get quite sad when you are ending a phase, but that's nothing to be said, because that's what builds success. It's about starting, finishing, and delivering. Yeah, and that's what we expect from you, from both ATTs and YPPs, is to go and deliver and start looking for opportunities, how to create business, how to write grants, how to advance your career. So today, as I mentioned, I am landing and I'm getting messages from jet lag, 5 hours time difference. Yeah, and then you have to be here from Brandon. Then I pop into the office, and then Cheryl tell me we have to submit a grant. We even submit application today. Yeah, Cheryl did 99% of the work. Yeah. So that's what you kind of think that you do. You keep moving and keep applying and keep advancing. So thank you very much for everyone. So let's really have a celebration today. But to talk a little bit more about what this program is about and the journey, yeah, I'm gonna ask Richard Gordon, because Richard is the one that really took that to heart. Yeah, he almost feel that you guys are his children, not children, you're quite young. Yeah, that he feel attached to that. So Richard, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, good. I was hoping Tulio, being jet lagged and coming in from Brazil this morning, hadn't upset everyone in the world with his talking, but no, very good, Tulio. Thank you. Can everyone online hear us? Okay. We also have your counterparts in Senegal dialed into the session as well. For those in the room, this is half the cohort. The other half of the cohort is in Senegal doing a very similar program online. So welcome the guys in Senegal. So yes, this has been a program that's been very dear to my heart. If it's one thing that's going to really transform Africa and its reliance on the rest of the world, it's really young entrepreneurs like yourselves and stepping forward and stepping into the mix. And this program has been a real labor of love from day one. But to see on the first day when I met you guys, I didn't really know what to expect. I think it was about half an hour later, and I thought, whoa, these are some very, very impressive young talent from Africa. And I wish people around the world could see what we have and that can be tapped into and leveraged. And when I say leveraged, I leverage from an African point of view, where you guys realize just how good you are, and you don't need to stand back for anyone in the world. So I just wanted to say, from this program, from the ending of phase 1 with the ATTs leaving us, you guys have been guinea pigs. We haven't always got it right. Haven't always got the bed right, Fezor. Sorry. But we got it more or less right. And so that's why the survey stuff is very important on how we can constantly keep improving the program and seeing that those who came after you and also apply after you, when you say to them, guys, you need to apply to this program. And I'm sure each of you will know 10 people who you think should be on this program, should be applied. So we are going to see the fruits of your labor now in this session. And it's going to be very interesting for those in the audience. And I would like to just give a special play out to those online and the industry supervisors who are here. There's several of you in the audience today. Thank you very much for giving up your time and effort to mentor these amazing minds from across Africa. And I remember you guys in your first couple of weeks of the countdown, out of your comfort zone, big time, on what we were going to do. I didn't want this project. I want that project. This is my, and there was a reason why you put on different projects that weren't in your background. It's because it's called adding skills and not just staying in your lane. So you guys can be very proud of what you have achieved, and we're very excited to see how you progress on in your careers after this. So please stay in touch. You're part of the African Stars Network. There are others coming after you. There are MBAs who's starting in a few months. It's all part of the same network. Use the network. All right? That's kind of why we're here. If you want to set up a business export in Morocco or Tunisia or Ethiopia, well, you know some people from those countries. You spent very much 6 months of your lives having every meal and every social engagement, and you know who you can ask. So I want to say congratulations on being part of a very successful, I view it as a very successful program. Your reviews may say something different. But really for you to kick on, and the word of encouragement that our emails, our door is always open for you guys. If you want to go and move into any directions you want to do, ask us, we can help where we can. But really the ball is now going to be passed into your court to go and make the most of this opportunity that you have been given and not to fade away into obscurity. There's no reason why you guys should, because you're that good. All right, so I'm going to stop there and let's get on to the demo day.
Thanks, Rich. Awesome. Yeah, and from our side at Launch Lab, it's also been a privilege to work with CERI and you fellows through the whole thing too. This way. Okay. Stage manager is moving me around. Knight to Queen's Rook 4 or something like that. I'm terrible at chess. And then she moved me away from my notes. That's very important. The worst thing ever is an MC that loses notes and then you have no idea what's happening and neither do they. And I usually end up away from these anyway. Maybe just to brief everyone on what we've been through, if you, like especially the team that hasn't necessarily been around this whole time. Oh. There we go. So the goals of CountDown are just a few things. To validate the commercial potential of a new technology. Could be a new idea, something interesting that we've figured out, or a patent or something. Start to design a first business model, and then also be ready for, or as close to ready for as we can be, to raise the first pre-seed or angel funding. Normally the first money in is the friends, fools, and families, or some sugar daddy or sugar mama somewhere around Stellenbosch that might have, you know, $100,000 or $1 million or $2 million that they can put into something extremely high risk. We also have a small pre-seed fund in the university that we pretend to be sugar mamas and daddies with, but it's a little bit smaller than ideal. But being able to raise and getting the vocabulary of what it is to become commercial. And a lot of times we have to break some of the academic and research-based lingo, jargon, mindsets, and then kind of remold really, really smart people into something a bit more commercial than they have been the last little while. And it's a fascinating and exciting journey to go through that. with you guys. And there are a few former CountDown alumni. I think you're all in the front row from this year. So Louise runs also a health tech looking at oncology related things and cancer related things that just wrapped up in October. And the Sun Dynamics team, which I think we're still landing on the name, is like about to get some 7 figures investment. There's been a bit of a hiccup with an investor that's full of nonsense, but we're sorting that out. But also, like, they just went through CountDown first half of the year, and now there's several millions of rand ready to land in their company for them to build humanoid robots and components therein to export across the world. And from the same labs and engineering that CubeSpace came from, Q showing off my socks. When you make it big, you give people socks. So from the ESL lab in engineering, CubeSpace is worth about R1 billion today, and they make satellite components, so control systems for CubeSats. And these guys are from the same lab that came from. So success breeds success, right? And it's great to have you guys with us. And we're expecting the best questions and hardest questions and comments from you four. All right. Awesome. And then just noting mentors. So yes, the Launch Lab team has provided a platform, but through the whole thing, there's been 6 additional mentors to this that have been meeting with the teams weekly, replying to emails, found projects, put it into the mix and said, let's gamble with this, throw it into the ring and see what you guys come up with. And Corinne, you're here with us. Great to have you here with us. Let me just remind myself, she's the executive director at the Cape Town Infusion Center. So it's great to have you. And I think your team's actually pitching first. Yeah. Awesome. Also, Brian Fox, the professor of biochemistry at University of Wisconsin. I think he's there. It's extremely early in Central Time in Wisconsin, but he's there online with us. Ross Vermeulen, he's the co-founder and CEO of Flora Biotech in the CERI Bio facility just across the way. He's busy with a due diligence that I told him he has to get across the line this week. So he's working on that document. He'll be popping in after he finishes that so that the IC can actually happen tomorrow, so they can get their 10 million. Dominic Nicholas, co-founder and CEO of Amobazyme. So they just opened an 800 square meter facility down the road. They've also been working on one of the projects here with the diabetic foot ulcers. Lyndon Munger, the CEO of Medical Diagnostic, is also one of the mentors that put in a project here. And Naledi Plaki is the global business development manager at LASEC, is here. Yeah. Oh, hey, everyone looks different in 2D. Good to have you. Great to have you here. Awesome. So these are the people behind the scenes that have been working with these projects and supporting that from the very beginning. So all of you mentors, thank you very much for being part of this journey too. Awesome. So into the pitches, how it's going to work. One of our investors likes to talk about not a shark tank, but a dolphin pool. So we're not here to eat each other. We're actually here to support and that. So ask hard questions. Ask real hard questions, but we're not here trying to catch you out, right? We're here really asking questions to help you think a little bit more. So we're going to go through all 6 pitches and you guys know what order you're in because I don't remember who's in what project all the time. Yeah, but you guys know which one you are. We're going to go through the pitches. They have 5 minutes to pitch. And we'll give them a little bit of leeway. What we sometimes do with the big competitions is we have a countdown clock that's behind them. And the most fun thing in the world is to see that thing counting down and it turns red in the last 5 seconds and just waiting on like the buzzer and everyone claps and interrupts them in the middle of the pitch. That's a lot of fun, but we're not going to do that today. But we will kind of dance in the back and be like, okay, 9 minutes, it's time to wrap it up now. All right. But we will try to keep it to 5, give you a little bit of leeway, but you'll see me waving at you in the back when it's like, wrap it up, all right? Because we can't be here all night. You guys want to go and celebrate and have some wine. And then we'll open it up to the rest of the audience here for 2 or 3 comments or questions, just to poke holes and push it down the line in that kind of real feel, all right? Yeah, and then that'll be us, food and drinks and all of that after all of that. Cool? Everyone ready? Anyone nervous? I feel like I'm sweating, but I think that's because the aircon's broken and it's 35 degrees. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting ready for Sweat Africa. Yeah. And I do, when I saw Tulio with his shirt, I'm like, okay, good. The guy that's in charge is also dressed like me, because all the fellows came in dressed like in suits and professional. I'm like, gosh, I'm hosting this and I look bad. And then Tulio, it's like, okay, good. Now we're the standard. We're the standard. They're extra, right? Awesome. Okay, shut up, Brandon. First up, Smart Path team. You guys want to come up and grab the mic and the clicker?
Guys, feel free to take pictures and post, eh?
Yes, please take pictures of us.
You need to share.
Share the screen. I'm gonna share the screen. Don't share the screen, and then now share the screen. All right. And now the screen is shared again-ish, almost. No. No, you cannot cheat. All right, there. Umbi, awesome. The program director says go.
Good afternoon, everyone. So just a quick pulse check by a raise of hands. Who here in the audience has a sister, a mother, an aunt, a female cousin? Great, please pay attention because the next 5 minutes could very well be about them. So the day a woman goes to give birth is the day she's most likely to die. We are connecting maternal anemia care and making it seamless so that not a single woman is falling through the cracks. Meet Tembi. As a young girl, Tembi had heavy menstrual bleeding. She thought this was normal. She was not aware. Now she's pregnant as an adult and she is iron deficient. It has not been detected. As a result, this has not been monitored and subsequently it is going untreated. Tembi risks dying on the day she gives birth from postpartum hemorrhage. Tembi's story is similar to many women. Globally, 1 in 3 women are anemic. In South Africa, over 50% of women are iron deficient. Just for context, iron deficiency is sort of the precursor to anemia. So this is a big problem. To bring it closer to home, a recent study in the Western Cape found that almost 90% of pregnant women were iron deficient. So that's almost every pregnant woman in the clinic in Norway. So everybody is affected. Now this is treatable, but if it's left untreated, there are lifelong effects like the baby risks having. The baby could be born too early, the baby might have a low birth weight, and even more serious, the baby could have neurocognitive problems that last all the way into adulthood, including autism. We are introducing our solution, Smart Path. This is offering effective protection, continuous monitoring, and making sure that treatment runs across the board. We are bringing women in, raising awareness, and making sure that they are in the pipeline so they can receive care on time. What is Smart Path? Smart Path is a program that runs from the community to the clinic. We bring women in and we make sure that they know to ask for an iron deficiency test. Once they are in the facility, we track them using our digital data engine. And then lastly, we go a step further to setting up the facility to be able to have training and comprehensive maternal anemia care.
Currently, the market is huge, with 1.1 million births occurring a year, 57 of which are maternally anemic. There are players actively in the field, but most of them are innovating in science. So we are looking at our 5-year projection. In the first year alone, with just 10%, we are looking at obtaining $2.6 billion US. Our unique cross-sector ecosystem will bring together both players in the public sector, private, institution, and community. And the business model is a hybrid model that will offer funding on community awareness and screening, and a subscription based on the clinical data engine. And finally, a purchasable facility activation toolkit. And the team is comprised of me, my partner, Kule, and Tracy. I will handle the business and the tech side. She will handle the work work optimization, and finally, FESO will handle the product. The way forward next year is going to be around a roundtable forum, insights of which will inform our user-informed integration, and finally, we'll do a validation through a pilot. So what is our ask today? It's going to be around logistical support for the roundtable forum that will occur next year, and a financial partner to run the pilot. We'll also be looking at collaborating with actual experts, as this is going to be a very complex task to solve. And I'll leave you with this quote. This is from the World Health Organization that says, maternal mortality is not a mystery. We know why it happens, and we have the tools to prevent it. The question, therefore, is not whether we can end preventable maternal death, but whether we will. Thank you so much.
Over 55. Disclaimer, in the program, we would do an elevator pitch to start, and they had 30 seconds. And there was one day, one team went on for like 2.5 minutes. And JD asked the question, how long do you think that was? 35 seconds, and everyone bust out laughing. Everyone else in the room, the whole cohort was like, no, man. Well done, good timing. A few comments or questions from the audience? Yeah.
Hi, I just have a two-part question. So is this going to be like a finger prick device that you guys, I don't know if I missed that first one, how do you test for it? And then secondly, when you get pregnant, don't they already screen for iron deficiency? Because there's a list of things that they usually screen for. Is this more for the something that would maybe be applicable to the private rather than the public healthcare? Yeah. Sorry, if I missed the first one, I'm really sorry.
Should we answer as asked? Okay. Thank you for the question. So SmartPath is not just a fingerprint solution. That is one part of the whole program. We are proposing to bring together the different elements that are required to make sure anemic care is connected. That means we have partners in place who we've talked to who are willing and ready to jump on board to connect the dots, including partners who develop diagnostic point of care test kits for ferritin. So women will be tested for iron early in the clinics. With us raising awareness, they will know to request those tests. And in so doing, we raise demand for those tests, thus generating revenue. And then the second question was, aren't they already?
I know they do pre-screening, like when you're a certain few weeks in your pregnancy, they do it.
Yes.
So I was just asking, doesn't that automatically already include iron levels?
Thank you again. So screening should be happening. It's not happening across the board. And when it does happen, it's not happening on time. So we're missing the women. By the time that they're coming in and being caught to be anemic, it is a bit too late. Remember, I said iron deficiency is the precursor to anemia. So yes, they are being screened, but not everybody is being screened. And secondly, they are being screened way too late. So we're still missing these women.
Yeah, thank you. My question is, it's quite similar. Yeah, I couldn't really understand what's your product. Yeah, and are you thinking about something that to sell, or to me this looks almost like a NGO, a non-government organization, or something that you could do with a training grant, similar as you have here at the Mastercard Foundation. So if you can explain to us, is that a really, are you selling something, or you're gonna looking for grants to then do the training and move people to the facility?
Actually, our unique approach is going to be a bit of both. As currently, all these solutions do exist. It's just that the innovators who have already produced the solution are too niched to address the whole problem. So we want to create a organizational platform that will bring all of them together. And once they are together, we'll be able to tackle the problem itself. That's why it is split in three, whereby there will be the sector where there will be community awareness and screening. this will be around the education, because we realize a lot of ladies right now don't even know exactly what maternal anemia is, let alone how to address it. Because if you go to a hospital, you're suffering from something and you don't even know you have it, it becomes hard. And we want, after that, we want to gather this data to also inform the research and how we will be able to scale it. That's where the data engine comes to play. And finally, there's going to be a facility activation toolkit that is going to be designed with Prof. Bami, and it will work around keeping this going, whereby if we are able to talk to these facilities, these hospitals, we want to ensure that this program is ongoing after even a year, 10 years onwards. I hope that answers the question.
No, but it's not that you're gonna sell a service or you're gonna get a grant or doing preparedness. Yeah, how are you gonna develop your business? How are you gonna bring money?
Okay, so for the community awareness and screening, this is going to be through grants, where we are going to generate revenue. Is going to be around the clinical data engine and facility activation.
There's one more back here in the peanut gallery.
I'm so proud of you both. Can I ask about your innovation in the education and community building? How are you going to do that?
Thank you. Just to confirm, how are we going to do the community awareness bit and the education part? Okay. So we want to acknowledge the partners that we've already approached and spoken to. We have identified a couple of partners. I think there's a slide about our unique cross-sector ecosystem, which is our competitive advantage, really, in the sense that the community wing brings partners who are already doing community work. So we are riding on their programming to supplement the work that they're doing. They work in maternal health in the communities. Our job is to say to them, is this one element that's not being handled of maternal anemia? So yes, you're training for HIV, yes, you're training for TB, but there's no training for maternal anemia. So we are requesting to partner with you through our experts, like the Cape Town Infusion Center, that do the training routinely anyway. So we're just saying, can we hop on board and make sure that these pieces are coming together as one? That way we're saving money, but we're still reaching all the women in one place.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll take you off the hot seat. They volunteered to go first, so it's very brave of you guys to put your hand up and be the guinea pigs again, like you haven't had enough. Awesome. The next team up is the diabetic foot ulcers team. Welcome.
Hi everyone. Today we're going to be presenting on Pan-African rollout of a biostimulant with demagogue for diabetic foot ulcers. Before I continue, I would like to extend my condolences to Kenneth Mulungu. He's just been saying that he lost his uncle due to diabetic foot ulcer, his uncle in Malawi. So whatever I'm going to present here, it's not fiction, it's a facts and figures. So what do? We help African healthcare systems to save lives cost by providing affordable biostimulant epidemic growth factor for the treatment of diabetic foot ulcers. So according to the International Diabetes Federation, it is estimated that 24.6 million people in Africa suffer from diabetes, and this number is expected to grow to 60 million. That's a 142% increase. And that is compared to the world average of 45% increase during the same period of time. And of these people who suffer from diabetes, 13% of these people suffer from diabetic foot ulcers. So in Africa, that's a number which is close to 3.25 million of people suffering from diabetic foot ulcer. And this number is expected to grow to up to 8 million by the year 2060. And of these people who suffer from diabetic foot ulcers, 1/5 of them, they actually undergo amputation. And of the people who go under amputation, 80%, that is 4/5, they actually die within 5 years of amputation. So the journey of a diabetic foot ulcer patient is characterized by economic, social, and financial burdens. And the worst case scenario is whereby someone needs to have an amputation, and it's very costly. It's roughly around $6,000 US. And of course, as mentioned earlier, those who are amputated, most of them, they die within 5 years. So the solution that is there, that is provided by Mobazan, is to provide a biosimilar epidermal growth factor, which is 10 times less compared to the similar medicine that are there. So what we did was to do a market analysis and customer interviews to see if we can roll out this locally manufactured biosimilar by Mobazan. So we had some interviews with clinicians, pharmacists across Africa, and what we found is that most of them, they do not know about this treatment, about this medicine, so as to speak, because it's not there in their countries, except for South Africa, Algeria, and Angola. And they are also willing to use that medicine if provided that it actually improves the patient outcomes. So based on the data we have, we did the market analysis, assuming that the biosimilar will be costing 300 per full cost. We calculated the total addressable market as 975 million. And from that, we calculated the serviceable available market, focusing on 6 priority African countries with highest burden for the diabetic foot ulcer, which is 453 million. And then a 3% of the sum, to calculate the sum, we go to 13.5 million.
Our business model includes direct sales to governments and then private bodies, and that is dependent on who the payers are in those identified countries. Also, we are looking at donor-funded agencies and also NGOs. The competitor we have is Biocuba Pharma, which is the developer and manufacturer of the original EGF, which is licensed under the name Hebaprods. Now, our competitive advantage over the competition is that we are looking to reduce the cost by up to 10%. It costs upwards of $10,000 for the full treatment from the competition, but we are looking to reduce it. And with who we work with, we have identified partners in the various countries, which include private medical bodies, hospital care clinics, among others. The channels we are looking to go through to get the products or solution to the people that need it includes the regional medical distributors, as well as the medical reps. And then the final customers are the DFG patients who get clinics, NGOs and health insurance, who in some countries are the payers. Now, with the way forward, we are looking to form partnerships with the identified entities. We are also looking to create awareness because, like my colleague mentioned, what we have found out on the recurring themes over time is that as life-saving as the solution is, it is not everybody that knows about it. The people that the problem affects do not know about the fact that there is this solution even. And so we are looking to create awareness. We are also looking to work with clinical trial partners who would be able to generate evidence of the drug's efficacy. That would inform the regulatory processes. And then when we have the data and the trust of the people in the drug, we can distribute and then do post-market pharmacovigilance. Now, our team includes Keystone, Francisca, myself, and Kajelcha. We bring on board varying experience and expertise in biomanufacturing. Please partner with us in saving lives and limbs. Thank you.
Done, guys. Questions from the floor here, and there are people sending questions online that apologies I did not get last time, but we'll get those this time if there are any. Comments, questions here? I always have one in my pocket, but we'll get it.
It's not really a question, it's more a comment. I'm really impressed that you thought it through all the way. Because often that step of clinical trials, regulatory, is one of the biggest hurdles to actually getting products into market. And when you're wanting to deal with the NGOs and the funders, that's the first question you've got to be able to answer. So really impressive work, well done.
Thank you. Hello, good presentation. I wanted to ask, your competition, I think, was priced at 10,000, is it dollars? And your solution was 3,000, was it rand or dollars? 300.
Right, dollars, yeah.
How come it's so much cheaper than the competitor? Is it as effective or?
Okay, thank you so much. This solution, I mean, the one that is actually in the market right now, the people who developed it, of course, they went through the full course of clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And for them, I think, for them to have so much hypothesis, because maybe they wanted to kind of, meet the cost that they incurred, in developing the product. So this is a biosimilar. So like in other medicine, there are some biosimilars that are developed. So it's cheaper because, so what happened is the patent is now out of patent. So anyone can manufacture, so that's how cost can go. Because in as much as there is need for clinical trials for this one, you might find that you might not need to go to even phase 2 and 3. Maybe you might end it phase 1. So maybe then, but it's a biosimilar, it's proven that it works. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. Also, the fact that it's being manufactured locally, there's no need to import it. So just distribute it across Africa.
Go to Tulio real quick, and then there's one online.
Yes, of course, that we know quite well the company Immunoenzyme. Yeah. So and we have seen the pitch, and they come to present to us. It's clear that is their innovation. Yeah. But what you three will be doing with them to make that more successful? I want to understand what would be your role here, in that process.
Okay, thank you. So our role now is to try to give this product across Africa. As mentioned, I think the title was Pan-African Rollout of Epidemiology for the treatment of diabetic foot ulcer. So I think where they are right now, actually, we understand that from our minute that actually there's a team which is actually working that as well. But we didn't want to kind of indoctrinated us if we work together. Yeah. So I think they're also working on their own there, and we're also trying to do something. Then we see what we come up with from the market analysis. Yeah.
And then your team, from which countries are you guys, and what would be your advantage to take that to your country?
Okay, thank you. I'm from Zimbabwe. Then Fanga is from Ghana. Then Kajocha from Ethiopia. So you're going to find that Ghana and Ethiopia are part of those 6 priority countries that we've identified, which have the high disease rate for diabetic foot ulcer. So I think that would be very.
The online question was the same as Tulio's essentially, but a different one. So the $10,000 for treatment currently, is that just for like the enzyme or whatever is in that bottle, or is that for doctor's time and labor? Is it just for that? So the $300, it is apples for apples, enzyme to enzyme.
Yeah, so the cost is the cost for the medicine. So when it comes to $300, it's the cost for the medicine, the biosimilar. Then the 10,000 is the cost for the medicine that is being produced by you.
So it doesn't count doctor's time and all of that. That's extra consultation stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just.
And one online, what are the manufacturers of the medicine getting from this? So that what's the margin that's going to go to Imovazyme? So 300 is going to be the selling price. What's the profit for that? For treatment per gram, whatever you can.
Unfortunately, we don't have that information.
Okay.
Definitely, they are making profits.
Okay. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given you the project. There's time for one more if there is one. Awesome. I love the robots on this one.
Hi guys, well done on the pitch again. My question is just to add on to the Mobisign relationship. Do you guys have any exclusive licenses or in the process of obtaining exclusive licenses with them to manufacture and to distribute? Or I guess I'm asking, what is stopping someone else in your doing what you're doing and using Mobisign to manufacture and selling you guys?
Okay. I'll try to respond from the way I understood it. So basically, where we are right now with them, it's their project, right? That they're working on, and we come on board with them to see how we can, roll out this. But also in terms of, to say someone can just come in and work with them. Yeah, that's a possibility. That if, because for them, they are manufacturing, that's number one. They also need to distribute, right? So there's a possibility for us that wherever we are, we can work with them and be distribution partners, right? That's number one. And also we have an advantage that we are actually working with them, maybe from the word go, because right now they just moved to a new facility and they're actually trying to develop this. So I think we have that advantage of saying we are working with them from the word go and everything.
Last quick one, because it's you, yes.
Just in terms of the field of biologics and biosimilars, what sets you apart is the support you give to the people who are using the team. So when we look at biologicals used within the medical field, the thing that sets biosimilars apart from the originators is the support that you offer. So that's something just to put in the back of your head, because they're obviously drugs to people who are using them, how to use them, how to support, how to get them, and how to manage them. So that's
Thank you so much for
Which means you can charge more and still be under market and make more money. Well done, team. Well done, guys. You had a little extra time in the hot seat there, and the seat is getting hotter. Awesome. And Dom from Mobisign got in just as we were asking those questions, and it was pointed at you. I'm almost like, should we ask you that question? But no, yeah, you've been through this enough yourself, Mr. 50 million Rand. Awesome. Faint brag, but on your behalf, yeah. Next one is the vaccine landscape team. Not all at once. Welcome, guys.
Good evening, everyone. We are the vaccine manufacturing landscape team, and we know that Africa bears the highest burden of infectious diseases, but the most surprising that only 1% of vaccines are manufactured on the continent. Even research and development, we get only 2% of the funding. But the most interesting thing is that even where most infections occur, we only account for 8% of clinical trials on the African continent. So we knew what happened with the COVID-19 pandemic, how Africa was starved of COVID vaccines. And as our team and Africa Link, we want to drive Africans' vaccine independence by supporting local manufacturing through sourcing and distribution of critical raw materials, training the next generation of scientists, and connecting manufacturers, researchers, and policymakers into one ecosystem. So just to look at what is happening on the continent, we did our research and we found out that about 30 pathogens are under research and development for vaccines in Africa, and only this is happening at 10 different institutions within the continent. And if you can look at this map, it is interesting that you have footprints across the continent, but they are very scattered. And also, we produce only about 19% of solutions, which is in drug substances. The rest is imported solutions. So the problem, and the most recurring problem, is we have limited domestic production. The research, academia, and industry ecosystem is so fragmented. There are many silos throughout the continent, but also we depend a lot on imported products, lengthy and complex regulatory systems, even within the African continent. And there is also a big issue of low confidence in African-made products. So the solution that we are coming with is, one, to secure access to high quality inputs for vaccines globally, lower production costs via local manufacturing, facilitate partnerships with trusted component suppliers. We also want to distribute these local raw materials and vaccines, and also build capacity through targeted training for African scientists and bridge academia, industry, and policy for innovation. So we did our landscape, and we talked about the people in this ecosystem throughout the African continent. And as you can see, our talking to people was a bit diverse. We talked to International Vaccine Institute in Rwanda. This is CERI, Kenya Medical Research Council in Kenya. We had companies from South Africa, and also, most important, the African CDC. So African CDC is important because it is connecting all the dots on the African continent. But the most revolving thing across all these institutions was we are innovating, we are pushing to innovation, but the issue of trust of African products. Are we ready to take in African products? And are other countries even willing to take in a vaccine from the African continent? Of course, among other things that came up. So, as our team, we said, okay, now we can come together and say, we set up Africa VacLink, and this is embedded on one. Can we get products from wherever, let it be German or where? Can we have access to this key component for vaccine manufacture? Then, can we distribute this through all African manufacturing companies? And also, can we train? If we need someone to go to JSK and get a certain technology, where can they go to? Who can they go to? How can they get access to that training? So building on LASEC, which is a big company in Africa on distribution of some of the medical equipment, we can connect through these institutions and see that we connect supply, training through these global high-tech institutions, and also distribute the vaccines even after manufacture.
Okay, so next what we wanted to do is to look at, is this really commercially viable? So by 2030, what we see is that Africa vaccine market is projected around 4.7 billion. And with a market share of the products that we want to put across, which is 20%, is 940 million. And what realistically we can work with the market share of 4% is 37.6 million. So you can see that it's really commercially viable. So this is the team that will be working on this. We have experts in research and growing group with experience in mRNA vaccines as well as nuclear vaccines and how the vaccine effectiveness works. So what's the future looking like? If you are the manufacturer, what products do you need us to increase your capacity? If you are the funder, how can you help us in expanding this, accelerate the process of vaccine manufacturing in Africa? If we get a pandemic tomorrow, what hurdles do we have? What bottlenecks do we have that we can accelerate for you? And then finally, we want partners like regulators and policymakers. So build a partnership with us to accelerate the trust that is there and reduce the redundancy that we see in the world, as well as encouraging collaborative platforms for working on the vaccines. So finally, what we want to look at is immunization is not only one of the most effective public health tools. It is a fundamental right, a shared responsibility, and a vital investment in our future. So I'll leave you with one quote or question is that it's not like Africa cannot make vaccines, but it's about how can we manufacture reliable, increase the scale as well as the speed to respond to our own pandemics. Invest in Africa to accelerate this and reduce the burden. Thank you.
Thanks, team. First comment or question, I'm going to have to play with the camera because apparently it's frozen. So pay no attention when I do that, but I'll take one question first. And please have an extended long answer.
Lucky. Well done. How do you plan on building this trust? Say is absent. Look, you're bending over the mic. Extend the answer on this one.
So their proposed vaccine being made at weeks, but when we talked with them, we knew. So I think the issue is lack of early engagement, you get, but also awareness. People don't know. And the major issue is people are working in silos. The ecosystem is so fragmented. You go to Kenya, you say, who are you collaborating with? They only say we have ADCTP. They don't have any collaborator, maybe from CERI, from where. So if you don't have that interconnectedness within the African continent, you always have hesitancy. People don't trust the product. They will say, we don't care about this. We want something from Europe. Yeah.
I can also add, the Africa CDC are already working with us to try to scale up the vaccine capacity to 60% in Africa by 2040. And when we asked them, because we also spoke to them, we are very initiative, and we asked them, how can we build the trust? So they say, we're working with the government. These are the ones that were end users to receive the vaccine. So if we convince them, then they can accept their own vaccines because we are the ones to use them.
So you've almost answered my question because, so I mean, there's a whole industry about vaccine supply in Africa. There's also the reagents, the enzymes, the tips, and everything that go into making vaccines, which is kind of also part of this. But you alluded to it beforehand, my kind of gut feeling, you just have to open your social media and look what's going between the US and Canada at the moment, where the Canadian governments have said buy local. When I was 18 years old, I was very lucky to go to Australia. There's a big marketing campaign, buy local. So until the government step in and say we are buying local and supporting our own industry, that is really the key for you guys going forward. You make the best product. If the government doesn't tell the people, if you have a choice, they'll always choose a branded product. So glad you raised that because that's exactly the key issue I think you guys can do.
Yeah, we're thinking ahead.
Is there one more? Or do we let them off the hook? Don't see it.
So Amy's got this habit of sending you a WhatsApp question. So Brandon's not being rude.
Dude, there's one. Forgot to mention Senegal.
Oh, Brian probably has a question.
Oh, what would the first goal you would like to achieve to build trust? But
Let's say the question again.
so the question from Brian in Wisconsin, he's up at like before the sun. What would the first goal you would like to achieve to build trust? What would be the first goal you would like to achieve to build trust?
I think, as I said earlier, it's not like we're not manufacturing, it's just about the speed and the capacity that we can do it. We have like the Senegal, the IPG that are already manufacturing the vaccine, all the good stuff. And we have a better system in South Africa as well. Like the probiotic, all these guys that are producing enzymes that can be used in the vaccines, the AMR vaccines that are already in the process. Maybe sometimes the question is, we are focusing much on the AMR vaccines, but they be essential the next idea. We need to expand our portfolios and how best we do that.
If I can add is, I think if we can first look at who are the key contacts in every country. If we have all those key contacts, the decision makers, how can we bring them all into one sort of ecosystem? If we can achieve that, then the trust building is very fast. Because if you have them on board, you engage them, you always communicate to them of the hurdles and how you are navigating them, it can always work out.
Awesome. Well done, guys. That's halftime. One thing that's very clear is how much work is still needed for all of these things. And like you're just starting, you guys are a little way in. Dom is 6 years in to this. It's like, you think it's going to be this fun little, like, let's do CountDown and we'll make some money next year. And then 6 years on, and it's like, this year you started being month to month profitable. You're not profitable yet, but this year, 6 years on, being month to month and also a biotech thing, it's very clear what you're presenting, that it's like there's a lot of work still to go. And yes, it is, but that's the fun part. Like the fun starts after a program like this. Awesome. And that's just the first three. There's a lot of work still to do. Now the next three, the second half, that was the halftime show. Sorry, that's probably American of me. Yeah, no dancing or whatever those people do at the Super Bowl. Apparently, next year, the World Cup is in Canada, US, and Mexico. They're going to have the first ever, like, proper America-style halftime show that takes like 3 hours and brings out stages and destroys the pitch for the World Cup final. That'll be very exciting. Awesome. The fourth one, Monos. This is the team that I got to work with, probably the most controversial project in the whole cohort. So we expect big things. Wait.
Have you ever heard of the word nanos? It is adapted from the Greek word nano, meaning to pose. It aligns with control, timing, and reversibility. But what do we mean by posing? What are we supposed to pose? Let's find out together. So for so long, family planning has been an imbalanced equation where women have more than 10 methods to prevent unintended pregnancies, while men only have 2, one of which is permanent, which makes men think a lot and think about their options because they're very limited. Therefore, there's an urgent need for accessible and innovative male contraceptive, which break the cycle and introduce a new male contraceptive for everyone. This is the gap Manos is willing to fill. Our core promise starts by the fact that Manos is safe and non-hormonal, which makes it non-systemic, which doesn't cause any systemic side effects. Also, it is effective with 99% effectiveness. It's also almost not as invasive as vasectomy and completely reversible, so you can switch it on and off as you like. According to Male Contraceptive Initiative Survey, there's three main reasons why we are now in need of Manos more than ever. First of all, validated demand, where 83% of men expressed their interest in trying a new male contraceptive. Second of all, scientific momentum. This field gathered more than $10 million, which indicates an institutional belief in its potential. And lastly, public readiness, where media coverage has laid the foundation for its acceptance. We looked at this cool data and we said, why not doing our own survey and see whether men are actually interested or not? And this is what we got. We got 145 responses, where men were more than 35%. 70% of these men expressed their excitement to try our new product, Manos. The reason why they want to try it is because it's reversible and because it reduces the pressure on their partner. And now we'll hand over.
Okay, so I will discuss our business model, specifically our core product and our first marketing team. In simple terms, what are we selling and to whom? So we will work directly through clinic partnerships, specifically fertility clinics and sexual health centers. We will also work through certified medical practitioners, such as urologists or general practitioners. And we will enter the market in North America as well as in Europe. And we've chosen this reason specifically because, according to market research, they are most open and most receptive to novel technologies such as new male reversible contraceptives. So what exactly is our product and what are we selling? We have a Manos kit and it consists of 3 key components, of which the first is a single-use hydrogel applicator, a sterile pre-measured dose of our hydrogel, as well as support materials. And we will do this digitally to allow for physicians to network with each other as well as with the Manos team directly. In addition to our product, we also have additional services such as the training and certification of practitioners. And on the one hand, this ensures that we are delivering a quality product, and on the other end, it makes sure that we're generating recurring revenue. So this is our multidisciplinary team. We represent diverse backgrounds coming from 4 different African countries. And we have one mission in mind, and that's to advance the future and drive the future of male contraception forward. So for years, there's been research being published, and we've just explained that the market is open. The science has already been proven, and the opportunity is now, indicating that Manos would be highly desirable.
So join us and be part of the Manos experience to embrace new possibilities and give main choices. Allow them to access a safe, reversible, and non-hormonal contraceptive. After all, why go permanent when you can go TB?
Thanks, girls. That motto is not for marriages, but vasectomy, right? Just making sure. Yeah. Let's go to Chris in the back. No, Dom, no.
I'm not sure how far you are in the development process. I don't want to step on toes, but I want to ask, have you, especially if you're not far, have you considered natural family planning? Because that ticks all the boxes of your promises. If you practice it correctly, it's 99% effective. If you like all those things, non-hormonal, reversible, and yeah, I just want to.
Okay, so with regards to natural planning, you mean the withdrawal method? What do you exactly mean?
So natural family planning is by tracking the menstrual cycle of the female partner,
yes.
And then abstaining during periods of fertility.
Yes, of course, this is something that can be done. However, females are not always in tune with their bodies. They don't always know when they're ovulating versus when they meet with your phase, unless they're actively tracking it. But because women are often busy, it's not something they constantly observe. So this option provides a reliable option in terms of preventing that unintended pregnancies.
Also, there are some external factors that can contribute to this, like stress can change the hormones of the woman. So you can have a plan according to your.
Went from the back here.
That's two questions. So this would be in direct competition with something like EDIM2, which is going through clinical trials at the moment. How is this? What's the competitive advantage for this? Secondly, what's the competitive advantage for this product compared to EDIM2, which is already in clinical trials? Also a hydrogel based product. And my second question, related question, you mentioned no needles, but this thing needs to be injected into the vast dividends, right? That's already a no, mini. Was that a question that you sorry? Don't ask me how I know that. The question, so you asked those questions about needles in your survey. Also, who did you survey? I'm very curious about this.
Did you get all of those questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do my best. So we sent the survey to people we know. So basically, most answers we got were from South Africa, but we also got questions from Zimbabwe, Morocco, Tunisia too. And regarding your question, you said our product. Yeah. Okay, so we don't call this friend, we call it an applicator. So, and we're gonna make sure it's not as painful as it's looked on the picture. So we're not producing the product. We're gonna act like the middleman. So you're gonna deal with manufacturers. We're gonna try to deliver products to our end users, which are the clinicians. That sense.
Overwhelmed by the hands. We'll go to Dom and then Richard. We can only allow one per person.
Great pitch, guys, and well done. It was really, really good. A question on the technology itself. What are your regulatory milestones and hurdles? And are you going to manufacture the technology and the applicator itself, or are you working with a third party to do so?
So we will be working with a third party to do that, and then we will just be handling the packaging of the kit itself, and then send that through the distribution channels as well as offering our digital services. And with regards to, as Prof. Lenine mentioned, there is still clinical trials that's been happening. And what we see now is just the interest in the market already. So over 50,000 men have signed up for the clinical trials. So we can see this a great interest.
I noticed that 83% of men would like an alternative choice. I imagine it's 100% of women would prefer an alternative choice. But I'm actually going to comment in not in defense, but to say that, you know, this is a very important area and a growing area. So whether you're first or second, we need more than one company with one product for the world. So that doesn't scare me at all. And in many cases, it's better to be second to market than first to market because it's really that they can do the marketing and take it like so. I don't see that as a red flag for you guys. But yeah, I mean, you need to get over this no needle, no nothing. I think every guy in the audience would scream and all the women will say, grow up. So, but very nice presentation.
Matthias, I'll give a comment. So we were looking at the presentation and there was a needle in the syringe. And I'm like, just take the needle off the syringe. It'll just kind of make it land a little bit better.
I wanted to ask how much the actual product costs, and then you guys said that you're not going to manufacture it yourself. So what would your profit be on distributing being the middleman?
So exactly with regards to cost, we're not sure yet. We're trying to make it significantly less in comparison to vasectomy, so that this gives men another option that isn't permanent and not always successfully reversible. The advantage that this offers is it's not a mono and it's reversible, so men feel more confident doing it in comparison to vasectomy. And then your second question, profit. So most of our profit after initial product sales, because we partnered with a manufacturing company, most of our profits will actually come from the training and the certification of urologists or certified general practitioners, because this is something that's designed to administer or give in a doctor's office.
Well done. Definitely the hot topic there, like how many hands multiple times, and all it was only guys, except for there's like the men are like, no.
Very thankful that the team were only women.
Yeah. Awesome. Pitch number 5, alginate. Who's clicking? Awesome.
Hello, everybody. So today I'm excited to tell you about our new venture, Kelp Bioactives Incorporated. So what we're doing is we offer the ability to extract high-value molecules from a very important kelp, which is seaweed. So hitting certain value chains for pharmaceutical companies, nutrition, and biomaterials companies. So the problem right now is the current processing actually loses up to 90% of these high-value molecules. What are these high-value molecules? Well, they actually have anti-cancerous property, they promote gut health, and right now they're currently massively used for plant stimulation, so plant growth. It turns out also that this sticky material that comes out ends up clogging farming material. So right now we're trying to find a solution to make it less sticky. So this is an uncapped market at the moment, and a great opportunity as kelp is extremely fast growing. It grows about 0.5 meter per day. It doesn't need any land. It doesn't need arable land. It doesn't need fertilizers. It doesn't need fresh water. It grows in the sea. Then there's a rising global demand for this in pharmaceutical companies, in nutraceuticals, in biomaterials, and many other industries. So we have a diverse application for this kelp. So our solution, currently there's a problem because only 10 to 30% of these high value compounds are actually being used and extracted from the kelp. So our solution uses a way better method using enzymes to produce a high yield of 30 to 70% of high yield. It reduces the stickiness, so it'll be better for this plant growth for farmers by 60%, and it keeps the bioactive, the great quality that these bioactive compounds have. Thank you.
Yes, so globally, the market for cow-derived compounds stands to around 15 to 17 billion. And this is an estimation projected for 2030. So the serviceable available market currently is 3 to 4 billion. So this is the market for cow-derived compounds. Initially, we are targeting a segment of around 50 to 100 million. That's the obtainable market. So we'll start with South Africa, but at the same time, we also want to partner with international players. In the past weeks, we've done customer validation and just trying to reach out to the value chain. And that has resulted to 2 clients. So the first client is Africa. This is one of the biggest players in South Africa currently, the biggest processors of seaweed, and also ocean rainforests. These ones are located at Faroe Island, which is in the Northern Atlantic. So these customers are ready to sign letters of interest with us. And even Africa have offered us raw materials for pilot testing. So what we're asking, we are raising $500,000. So this will scale production of the enzymes, also do customer pilots for the customers we already have. Also, this will go into solidifying the IP, regulatory and compliance, marketing, as well as scaling up the operations. This is the team of, this is our team. So Shalene Wormsworth, who's from South Africa, Kennedy, who's right there, is from Malawi, and myself, I'm from Kenya. We all have strong academic foundations in biochemistry and molecular biology, but also bring in industrial expertise and also research experience in Africa. And we feel that we're better positioned to do biomanufacturing in Africa. We're backed by key partners. So we have Prof. Brian Fox from the University of Wisconsin. He brings his expertise in enzyme structure and also enzyme modification. Prof. Robbie Pott from the chemical department here at Stellenbosch University, chemical engineering. So his expertise in bioprocess and engineering and also just optimizing the processing. Then we also have Dr. Rose Vermeulen and Dr. Van Staden from Thoro Biotech, who leverage the expertise in enzyme manufacturing and at the same time commercialization of the yes, so we ask all of you to join us in ensuring this is a reality. And I want to thank the African Stars Fellowship Program and the Mastercard Foundation for enabling us to go through this program. Thank you.
Well done, ladies. Oh, all the way over here. I got the steps in already.
Really cool talk. I've got a question and a comment. My comment I was going to do first is that you should probably talk about the CO2 sequestering of kelp, because that's really plays into like green economy and all that sort of stuff. My question is what you're actually providing these farmers. Like, is it a plant? You kind of talk very loosely about enzymes. So is it a mini like transportable plant? You just add in like a mix that you give it, stops it from clogging. What is your actual product as well?
Yeah, I can take that. So one of the customers from Africa, they told us they're very interested in an enzymatic solution. So we come into play where we're just providing the enzymes for them to solve their biggest bottlenecks. And they said the biggest bottleneck is actually the solution that they get from the kelp itself are very thick. So this thickness clogs the equipment. And for this also, when they sell the biostimulants, so biostimulants are things that help plants grow. When they sell this to their farmers, some of this leads to instability in the kind of crops they get. So we're sort of just coming in to offer a solution to Africa and other people in the industry, but then they're gonna create the value from this and sell to their customers.
So my question is, yeah, is that real? Yeah, or is that science fiction? Yeah. No, serious, because of course, yeah, and there are patents on Wisconsin University. So for people that doesn't know, the Department of Biochemistry at University of Wisconsin Medicine is probably the top biochemistry department in the world there. So can you explain to us, is that a patent, something that has been manufactured, is that real?
Hello, yes. So we do have patents actually with the Wisconsin University, and they're currently collaborating with Fluor Biotech and ourselves to create these enzymes. The biggest, our role was to find customers for these enzymes, basically. And we also wanted to simplify, back to the previous question, we also wanted to simplify the presentation as not everybody would know what enzymes are, but yes. So for the scientists out there, we are working with enzymes, and these enzyme cocktails vary according what the needs are, because as you can see, kelp varies a lot in what it can actually give. So that's why, depending on the company, we would adjust the enzyme cocktails, and we do have IP through Wisconsin-Madison University.
Another comment or question? Awesome.
One last question. Yeah, so just to add on that as well, so the group at Wisconsin have been working in this space for 20 years now, not only in the US, but the Japanese collaborators. So there's a lot of background artists. So it's very, very cool what you guys have come out of those positions. So congrats.
There is one online. What are your thoughts on how to scale up toward production of a product?
So honestly, our role is more behind the scenes, but in terms of scale up, that's where Fleur Biotech, and the partnerships come into play in terms of upscaling. But the reason why we think this is a viable solution is because we found a certain bacteria that can basically funnel certain chemicals. I'm trying to simplify it as much as I can, but yes, without getting too complicated. There's basically been a new technology, and that's why we think this would be.
And maybe I missed it, so apologies if I'm going to ask you to repeat something. So this is a brand new question, I don't like. Is it adding into current fertilizers biostimulants and just adding it in and it has no effect, or is there an effect on other, I guess, interventions in a farmer field? That how does this interact with something? Does it go straight into your product and you spray it together, or do you spray it separately? And then what happens in the field when they interact with each other?
So currently biostimulants, so the plant growing material for farmers, is already being used. It's just thicker. So we would go in to the company that are processing these biostimulants to give them enzymes to reduce their thickness levels. So what they're ready.
Customers, the biostimulant manufacturer,
Exactly.
not the farmer. Awesome. Time for one more if there is. Charlene was trying to run off the stage there. Awesome. Thanks, girls. All right. And the most nervous people in the room all day today, and the best dressed as a collective. Well done. Well, Julio and I, next time we do these, we'll borrow you guys' jackets. Awesome. So it's the last one. After you guys is more wine and some snacks. So no pressure. We want to be entertained.
We are just going to talk about cervical cancer. So we're going to talk about cervical cancer. And what we have to note is that by the end of this presentation, almost 3 women would have died of cervical cancer. So it's a serious case. And we know that every 2 minutes, a woman is lost to cervical cancer. And the major cause of cervical cancer is HPV. But the problem here is not that there is carelessness, but because there is missed and late diagnosis. So what is the crisis? So one is that we have over 350 deaths happening every year. And over 90% of these cases are happening in resource-limited settings, that is mostly in sub-Saharan Africa. And only 13 women in sub-Saharan Africa get a diagnosis. And we know that if you are afflicted by HIV, you have to do cervical cancer screening, HPV 3 to 5 years, and if you're not, 5 to 10 years in your life. So then the urgent need is that there is need for an accessible accurate diagnostic tool that is easily accessible. So the challenge is that there is no, the challenge here is that there are existing tools, but we have inadequate lab infrastructures that can support this. And also, we face limitation with enough skilled staff, for example, to do histopathology and cytology. And also, we faced with high diagnostic costs compared to the existing systems like Roche and Gene Expert. So what we do is that the WHO recommending the screen and treat. And here is preferably wanting to use a DNA type of test. So what have we come up with is a reverse transcription group method that looks at DNA testing. And this gives you results in within 1 hour. So minimal equipment needed, just with some heat source, and then also reduced costs, between 20 to 30% reduction in the costs. Also, looking at this being a point of your care, it can be done even in a simple clinic. So we've only a few steps. That's our 4 steps, and it can be done on any sample that is being collected. So this unique technology presents us with free extraction, so no need for complicated methods in the laboratory. And it can also, if you cannot interpret the results, it can be uploaded on a smartphone, and the results can be interpreted for you. So we have key gains here is that we have accuracy without laboratory infrastructure. We have compatibility with self-collected sample. We have designed to detect HPV of the most virulent strains, that is the 16 and 18. And this is how the simple method looks like.
Thanks, Bruno. So I'll be talking about the market opportunity for HPV diagnostic. So when we look at Africa as a whole, the TAM is seen at 100 million per year for HPV testing. The SAM is seen as 35 million a year. And our SOM was calculated using a 5 to 10% market that we may be able to obtain, looking at charging the test for minimum between 7 to 15 US dollars. So the revenue model is basically based on bulk sale of kits to governments and NGOs, training services, and also contract diagnostics. Now, market entry strategy relies heavily on ministries of health, NGOs, and mobile units. Local manufacturing also helps us keep the cost competitiveness when we are looking at our competitors like Gene Expert. Now, for traction, also strategic partnerships. We have developed a comprehensive business model that targets key stakeholders. Our key stakeholders are the ministries of health, NGOs, mobile screening units, and academic networks. Now, academic networks are key in tracking HPV epidemiology across sub-Saharan Africa. Now, as you can see, a lot of governments are already starting to fight against this, and they are willing to adopt our product as is right now. As you can see, this is a clip of the Eswatini, from Eswatini, where they are mentioning just that. Our HPV RT lab delivers lab accuracy without the costly lab infrastructure. 30% of women are screened. That means that 5 million will die within the next 5 years if they're not accurately screened. And looking at our technology, this is the best place for us to take back and save the lives of our sisters, brothers. I mean, of our sisters, mothers, and our daughters. So we are ready to transform HIV diagnostics in Africa. And we'd just like to give a special thanks to our mentor, Dr. Lyndon Manga, the team here at Launch Lab, the CSIR, and also my colleagues, Dr. Nka, who's a clinical virologist, very helpful, myself, and Kabuba Joel, who's a clinical microbiologist. Thank you.
One standing over, you look like the guy in that nice.
Love this. I'm a big fan of point of care diagnostics because women disappeared in or getting lost in the care cascade is a big problem. So well done for this. Joe, you mentioned 16 and 18, HPV type 16 and 18. Those are really important for 70 to 90% of cervical cancers. But we also have prophylactic vaccines available, which target 16 and 18. Are there plans for this device to screen for any other oncogenic HPV types? Also, as you mentioned, others, HPV affects men too.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, so the start is that we started with 16 and 11, but that's just where the start. So we are going to expand to cover the rest of the oncogenic, looking at 31, 35, 33, and then 51 also.
It's a very nice presentation, guys. I'm going to disagree with you on one thing, and don't ever quote me on this. The governments generally make the worst customers, right? So they don't pay, and if you're looking for a 5 to 10% market, I would suggest they're probably not the market you want to go for, because it's a lot of hard work to get in there for unreliable partners. I'm generalizing, but that generally has been the case for many diagnostic manufacturers. But I also throw in else in 2 weeks. I was in a meeting 2 weeks ago when somebody was saying that they want to do these advanced products, and they threw in the mix faith-based hospitals, which are enormous in Africa. Now, actually, the single largest procurer of drugs and diagnostics in Africa when they work as a clinic. Might be something for you to consider looking at. That is an opportunity for many to
I think that's very true. And when you look at most of these resource-limited settings, so like in Uganda, over 80% of people first go to the private and the non-profit organizations before even they go to the government hospitals.
A question with regards to that 1 hour wait for the results to come in. So you mentioned that you can have like a smart device and it gets sent there, but your target audience doesn't have access to cell phones or internet or anything. So for that hour that patient is waiting, what are they literally just going to sit and wait for the results? Because you don't want them to leave, because then that loss of follow-up is there. So are they expected to just take the day out, travel to your facility, then get the test, wait that hour somewhere, and then if it is positive, then they can have follow-up? That 1 hour just seems long. If I am dependent on getting money every day to work, then I have to sit an hour to wait for results and also wait to get treated. And it just seems like a very long time. Sorry.
I'll take it.
Thank you very much for the question. You're right. For someone who have to go to job, it may be very long. So I think also it depends on the clinicians. Because in most also limited setting, results are handled by clinicians, medical doctors. So we have a lot of women or person who doesn't know how to interpret results. So maybe she can depend on the health facilities. If I take the case of my home institution, we send an email to the clinical doctor or medical doctor or practitioner, and also she can directly call the patient. So I think we cannot handle a universal approach for that. I think it depends on context, on the clinic, also for the person. She can wait 1 hour. You don't know. So maybe she can be adaptable by the context.
One more here from the robots. I wanted to ask on that device that you're showing on screen now, is it currently a commercially ready product or is it still under development? And if so, are you manufacturing it yourself or do you have people manufacturing it for you?
This is still under development, but it is going to be rolled out by the medical diagnostic.
So the rollout should be happening this time next year, according to our mentor. So it's currently being assessed at the CSIR just to make sure that it's clinically accurate.
Last comment to the question. Anything online, Abby, that I'm missing? Last one. Corinne, closing us out.
Just wanted to raise something that is actually very kind of prevalent through this afternoon, is how at each point of care, why are we not doing everything? So why are we not screening for anemia, checking for HPV, and doing all the things that need to be done at a certain point of care, instead of somebody coming back every time for different things? And I think that's where Africa has the opportunity to turn healthcare on its head. Let's do it differently from the rest of the world, where we stop siloed care and we look at point of care and what we can do at that point of the visit where we can test. There's a hepatitis B vaccine that costs 20 cents that you can give a baby to stop them dying of liver cancer, and yet it's not done. So why are we not doing all of this together as a unified approach to what's not done?
Since you're off the hot seat, the last hot seat of the day. Well done. Just to close it out, I didn't prep him on it, so he does not have a speech that he's prepared. But JD now, coming up, JD, he's been working on this program, actually with Launchlight program since 2014, before this building opened. And I said, JD, today, you have no script. He's been like doing things and chatting. So just experiencing what we started with on the 10th of October to now, like share some words of wisdom, encouragement, chastise, whatever, no, but just words of encouragement, what you've seen in the last couple of months, and really close us out and send us off.
Thanks, Brandon. Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here. I've been part of the journey since the beginning. It's only been 9 weeks. They walked in here and they were given these projects and said, guess what? In 9 weeks, today will happen. Are you ready? And we dug in, and I think there were some quizzical looks at stages, people looking at me going like, why do I have to do that? Thank you to the Manos team. You were endless amounts of entertainment and broke the ice for us and carried it in such a beautiful way. Thank you for that. And I just really enjoyed it. All I can say, maybe echoing what Richard said, is like, wow, this is only the beginning. Because maybe there's a spark, maybe something happens, maybe it's not this idea, but the potential, the actual insights and the tools you gained from this process, that's the important thing. And I think everybody that looks at it today, please know that there's an immense amount of work and process that went into what happened today. So what you see here was people going through the whole cycle, going from being freaked out to being, kind of in denial, and then accepting it, and then ultimately going into peak performance. So from my side, and I think the team as well, and I just want to thank Jade and Nadine that's been in the background and supporting and organizing, and everything here that you see today, they run that, and it's always just such a joy to work with them. So from my side, once again, a massive, big round of applause. Well done. See you in the future.
Thanks, JD. Well done, guys. Food, drinks, oh wait, Tulia. And then food, drinks, and wine.
No, just to say, very, very, very impressive. Yeah, we really love it. Yeah, to see you presenting and developing the idea, and we are very proud of you guys. Yeah, and it's exactly what I say. That may not be the idea that make you a millionaire or billionaire and join some of the buy a wine farm here. That's what they do. May not, but the whole idea is how to think. Yeah. How to move things from a theoretical thing to a market analysis. And I thought that you guys did very well. Yeah. We are very excited to follow your steps. Yeah. We also gonna have like 2 large events next year that you may be able to attend. The first one, it is the I don't know if you guys heard about our crazy idea called the Sweat Africa program. Is going to happen between 12 and 13, or 13 and 14, 13 and 14 of February. Yeah, and as part of that, we are bringing the the OST, the Open Startup International Program, which is going to be companies that are being accelerated, And Richard and I, we sit in the pitch, and they're phenomenal. Not Richard, the ones that were selected, And just to see what's the next step. That's companies that are trying to grow from like 10, 20 people to 100 people, And the main topic of that, especially on the 14th of February, is gonna be like, what's the most sexy things to do in Valentine's Day to get a check? Your first check on Valentine's, that will be. And then in around of October next year, we are running the first alumni program. That's gonna be together with the DA, and we're gonna invite many people to come. We're not gonna be able to fund everyone to come, so we're gonna have a little bit of a lottery, between the fellows at the IPD, Senegal, and here at Stellenbosch. But we're gonna encourage you to come to build the network. And then again, a lot of these things, the main thing that you can take together is not only the way to think, but it's your network. And I really would encourage the fellows in South Africa to approach the fellows in Senegal. That's going to be a network that you're going to bring together, and do a little bit what Brandon highlighted. Celebrate everyone else's success, because success breeds success. So in around also January, which date are we receiving the MBA fellows? 14th of January, my birthday, they make me work in my birthday. As they make me work, as I come out of the plane, but that's part of being the director, and that's important, So we're gonna be joining here. So for the fellows that are here, come meet the MBA fellows, against your network. That's what can make the whole difference in life. It is not what you know, but who you know, and that's very important. And so far, extremely impressed with the first cohort that we have with the ATT and YPPs here in South Africa. Very impressed out from the ones at CARE, at the IPD in Senegal. And then now we're just going to enjoy some food, but again, work together.